land. Aloha.
Aloha. I'm Jim Albertini. I'm president of Malu Aina, Center for Nonviolent Education and Action in Kurdistan. For over 30-some years, we've been growing food to share with people in need, working for peace and justice. And our farm was the hub for the Big Island Rainforest Action Group. And 25 years ago, I worked very closely with the Pele Defense Fund in Hilo, Puna rainforest. And also with the residents around PGV. So I'm very intimately aware of a lot of the geothermal issues. And in watching the Pele Appeal tonight, you know, that film is very moving. I've seen it many times, but it's really stood the test of time. It's as relevant today as when it was put together 20-some years ago. And in coming here tonight, I thought, you know, what can I do as a person who's not a Kanaka Maoli, what can I do to really express support for the Hawaiian people and the respect that's due on the spiritual concerns? So I drafted a petition, a short petition here, and just put a clipboard on the table. There are about 200 signatures on it. And I'd like to read it just briefly, one paragraph. And those who haven't signed it maybe would like to add their name to it. It says, ask anyone in Hawaii, who is Pele? And the reply very likely will be, Pele is the goddess of the volcano. Drilling into Pele to exploit geothermal energy is sacrilegious. It is desecration of the sacred. Pele is not for sale. Today, our entire planet is in ecological crisis because of disrespect for the sacred. Mother Nature is telling us all, in crystal clear terms, that to restore balance, we need to respect the sacred. In Hawaii, that means respect Pele. Do what is Pono. Let Pele be. No more geothermal drilling. An injury to one is an injury to all. There are clean, safe energy alternatives that do not violate Hawaii's host culture's religious belief and can help us all live more lightly upon this earth. About 200 signatures on this tonight, just by the clipboard standing on the table. And one final comment. I was horrified by hearing the stories of the health problems tonight of the residents around PGV. Their testimonies speaks to the total failure of government and industry in protecting the health and safety of the people here, and the land, and the water, and the air. And we better not repeat the problems. It's time, if we respect Pele, then the health of the people will be taken care of as well. So it's time, respect Pele, no more geothermal drilling.
Thank you.
Sign the petition.
Thank you very much. The next testifier on land to be followed by Dwight.
Good evening. I'm sorry it's so late. I know everyone knows. I guess I have to tell you my story. I came to Hawaii in 1969 to Maui. I came here in 86. I was exposed to a yellow cloud that was ejected from the blowout, and we were evacuated to Pahoa. That's where the evacuation was. The Red Cross Center was in Pahoa. And during that time I got very sick, but I didn't realize that, at that time I didn't even realize how sick I was, because there's like a fogginess that comes over you. But I had severe headache for 6 months. I couldn't get out of bed. I had a hard time. I was milking cows at the time. I couldn't even take care of my farm at home. And I had 3 children at home. Later I started to lose the skin on my arms and my legs. And for 4 years I didn't have skin on my arms and my legs. This is all documented. When I went to the health department, they said they couldn't talk to me because I was involved in a geothermal accident. They wouldn't even address it. And then I also lost some large clumps in my hair. But, and then my daughter threw up every night for a year. She would cough and throw up. She was 4 years old, every night for a year. And when they finally did have a health survey, that's when I found out that everyone else had headaches and the same things. Other than that, I didn't know what it was from. And then I started to talk to people that went to the health survey, and they told me, I said, you mean this is from that? And they said, well, everybody here has the same kind of things. And recently there was 3 giant-sized explosions. And they seem to be coming from that area. And I was told that civil defense, the fire, and the police went to the geothermal plant and returned away. I have a letter here. I have a letter here that was written by Fred Glass to Senator Carol Fukunaga and the Economic Development and Technology Committee, State of Hawaii Capital, Honolulu, in support of these numbers, I guess. So it says, Aloha Senator Fukunaga and members of the Economic Development and Technology. I am writing in support of these Senate bills relating to geothermal development. I am currently in Hawaii Council representative for the District of Puna. I've had several meetings with community members. I've never been to one of those meetings, and I would have. Industry representatives and potential geothermal resource developers.
Thank you, Holly.
He says, I am in favor of geothermal development projects on public trust lands and even reserve lands.
Thank you, Holly. Our next testifier, Dwight to be followed by Oli Fox.
Thank you very much for having me and being here tonight. I would like to, I don't know if I related to these members of the council, but in 1974, 3 radicals came from Honolulu to save our surf and were sent on a mission to stop the Kaimu seawall, which was this 3/5 mile stone wall, which was to mimic the Hilo Bay breakwater, to cover Kaimu Bay, or to cover, protect Kaimu Bay from the surf, under pretense that the black sand was being swept away. It showed, we brought 500 people to the brand new county council building, which was a very big hearing. We stopped it. It was very interesting. The developer, which was a very powerful member, in fact, chairman of the Hawaii Democratic Party, was behind the development and brought people all the way out, Hawaiians, to testify against us and call us out-of-towners. What we were able to show at that hearing was the sand was being stolen by the tourists. They were putting them in plastic bags and taking them home. Building the seawall was a pretense. Now, action, reaction, solution kind of thing is common. I would like to also say that the Wall Street Journal, the New Yorker magazine reported a few years ago that Puna was the Pittsburgh of the Pacific. We had cheap land, cheap labor, cheap water, and cheap energy. And the resistance, the people that stood against it, was the marijuana growers. Funny. But this idea of a Pittsburgh of the Pacific is a very foul thought, because if you cannot appreciate the fact that this is the last of the best, and you folks are just going to throw it out the window and make it become just as developed as Guam or any other ugly place left on this planet. Well, and finally, I'm going to tell you this, and I would like to speak. I spoke to Mililani, an old friend. 40 years friendship ended right here tonight. And this is it. This is a military ploy. The people who want this is the U.S. military. This is a big battery pack so that we can participate in these anti-terror actions around the world. Nothing short of criminal wars of aggression. So I'm saying to you that we are at the brink. Hawaii is at the crossroads of being a rural community the way we want it, or it's going to be a place with a lot of money and the worst kind of people we can imagine. So, gentlemen, ma'am, please do the right thing. Thank you.
Next testifier, Oli Fox, to be followed by Jenna Clusier. Sorry if I missed anyone. Sorry about that. Hello, sir. Go ahead.
You know, this feels like going back in time for 20 years and more. And But just today I was reading this article in the newspaper. It's what brought me down here. A couple of articles on geothermal. I noticed one word in there stood out to me. That's the one word I want to concentrate on tonight. That word is renewable. You keep saying renewable. Well, let me go over that process just quick of how geothermal works. You could drill a well down into the ground. You're going after a pocket of steam, an ancient pocket of steam down there, deep in the earth. You're not drilling into the magma. You're not drilling into, hot lava. That would be insane. They're not that crazy. So you get this pocket of steam. You're pulling up the heat, and you're turning it into electricity. And then once you use up all that heat, you got to drill a new well. Now, I'd like to know how you spin that to make the word renewable fit in. Kind of like, well, you use up the resources, and you got to drill a new well. Is well renewable? Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, they never tell you how that it's renewable. They just use the word renewable. So anyway, hey, now they want to do it over in Kona, and hey, I'm a NIMBY. I'm proud of it. But my backyard is the planet. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you. Next right here.